You know the funniest thing, though? It's the little differences.
Example.
Well, at McDonald's, you can buy a Krusty Burger with cheese, right? But they don't call it a Krusty Burger with cheese.
Get out. Well, what do they call it?
A Quarter Pounder with cheese.
Quarter Pounder with cheese?
Hey guys, it's good to be back. This is going to be a slightly different video again. A friend of mine has been watching what I've been doing, he's liking what I'm doing, and he said, Alex, can you do a discussion on Tarantino? We both share a love of Tarantino.
Violence, 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 violence.
I'm going to start with Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction was my introduction. That's when I recall going to the cinema. It was 1994. And I'm 21 and I just started going out with my wife at the time, Anne-Marie. And it was fun times and going out and just us and being young and all that goes along with that.
Don't be a...
It was wonderful times. And we used to go to the cinema a lot as well. We both share a passion for popular movies and pop culture. So we went and saw this new movie, Tarantino, Pulp Fiction. And I remember it starting with the heavy dialogue. Tim Roth, in that scene where they're about to rob that cafe.
Forget it, it's too risky. I'm through doing that shit.
You always say that, the same thing every time. I'm through, never again, too dangerous.
I know, that's what I always say, I'm always right, too.
But you forget about it in a day or two.
Yeah, well, the days of me forgetting are over. The days of me remembering have just begun.
And he's really intently talking to her about the strategy, how they're going to go about it. He's discussing with her about some guy that robbed a bank using nothing but a mobile phone. He walks in and he hands it over and...
What about this one bloke who walks into a bank with a portable phone? He gives the phone to the teller. The bloke on the other end of the phone says, "We got this guy's little girl. If you don't give him all your money, we're going to kill her."
Did it work?
Fucking right it works. That's what I'm talking about. Knucklehead walks into a bank with a telephone, not a pistol.
And just with the mobile phone, they're able to rob this bank. So he's amazed by that, with the ease with which, because he's not a real true villain. The character of Tim Roth I think he's more interested in it's very much like if you've seen True Romance, which Tarantino didn't direct, but he wrote. And it's very much like Alabama, and I can't think of Christian Slater's character's name.
Well, for starters, what do? Where are you from? What's your favorite color? Who's your favorite movie star? What kind of music do you like? What are your turn-ons, your turn-offs? The big question is, do you have a fella?
It's the two of them, and they're very much in love, but they both sort of got a criminal tendency as well. And that's what these characters are like.
You want to rob banks?
I'm not saying I want to rob banks, I'm just illustrating that if we did, it'd be easier than what we've been doing.
The intro to Pulp Fiction. So they're sitting there in the cafe and they're contemplating how they're going to rob this restaurant. And he also makes a big point of saying restaurants are where they've got the cash, and he's saying, this is it. So no one cares.
Manager, you don't give a fuck. He's just trying to get you out the door before you start plugging the diners. Waitresses, fucking forget it. No way they're taking a bullet for the register. Busboys, some wetback, getting paid $1.50 an hour. Really give a fuck you're stealing from the owner?
No one really gives a toss anyway if someone robs the place, so he spends the whole time justifying their actions. And then suddenly she jumps up, and she just, up until that point, she's been affectionate and lovey-dovey and submissive and quiet to him.
I'm not going to kill anybody.
And then suddenly she said, "Okay, lovey-dovey. Okay, honey bunny."
I love you, pumpkin.
I love you, honey bunny.
Okay, let's do this, and they kiss, and then she's up with the profanity.
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks move! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
I want to execute everyone, and it's bang into the theme. Even the way the intro rolls, it rolls up the words Pulp Fiction. It just seemed so nostalgic. It was wonderful, and being a fan of anything old stuff, whether it be music or film, was great. So there's lots of throwbacks. Tarantino loves the old music. He loves a lot of the scenes in his movies are really sort of 60s inspired, I'd say.
It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished him well. You could see that Pierre did truly love the mademoiselle.
The clothing, the music, I think, and I love it. I love everything about it. I love his style, and he's tight, he's efficient, he's strong, he's funny.
I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped?
Oh, what the fuck's happening? Oh, man, man. Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face. Why the fuck you do that?
So, and then you leave the credits, it gets into the Jungle Boogie tune.
Get down, get down, get down, get down, get down, get down.
And you're rolling into out of the credits, and then suddenly you're with Travolta and Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson, like, we've never seen it before.
Then what'd Marcellus do?
Sent a couple of cats over to his place. They took him out on his patio, threw his ass over the balcony. Nigga fell 4 stories. Had a little garden down at the bottom, closed in glass like a greenhouse. Nigga fell through that. Since then, he kind of developed a speech impediment.
I mean, we didn't really know him to the extent. I mean, really, that defined him. That role defined him. And then suddenly now Samuel Jackson is in every other movie.
First, we're gonna seal off this.
And his effing lines are signature to.
I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
He's become iconic. But at the time, for those of us old enough to appreciate it, John Travolta returning to film was huge. Up until that point, he was hugely famous. Grease.
Hey, Zuko, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Sandy!
And Saturday Night Fever.
Right on.
Okay, babe.
They were huge movies, maybe in the late 70s and early 80s. And he was mega, but then for some reason he didn't gel with other roles, and he was so tightly typecast to those roles. Iconic. It's a bit like Luke Skywalker. He is wonderful an actor. It's hard to see them as anything else.
Hey, why don't you pull over to lose?
But to see John Travolta back, and he's in the front seat of this car with Samuel.
No, baby, you think it the most.
You don't know that they're assassins at this point. They're cruising along, they're wearing their black suits and black ties and white shirts, and even that look has become iconic. They're talking about the time that he spent in France, and rather than talk gangster talk, they're talking about how they refer to Big Macs in France.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris?
They don't call it a quarter pounder with cheese?
Oh man, they got the metric system. They wouldn't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is.
And Le Big Mac, and what do they call it, a quarter pounder? I don't know, they ain't got the metric system. You know, it's they have this great conversation. And then even when they turn up at the place where they've got to kill this guy, they're still going on with the banter, and it's about some guy who gave their boss Marcellus Wallace's wife a foot massage, and how he got thrown off a balcony. They're debating whether the guy deserved to be thrown off or not, and it's a crazy discussion.
What's a foot massage? A foot massage is nothing. I give my mother a foot massage.
It's laying your hands in a familiar way on Marcellus's new wife. I mean, is it as bad as eating her pussy out? No. It was the same fucking ballpark.
Whoa. Stop right there. Eating a bitch out and giving a bitch a foot massage ain't even the same fucking thing.
It's not. It's the same ballpark.
Ain't no fucking ballpark, neither.
And it's so interesting that you're not even waiting for the next point that goes on in the movie. That's the beauty of Tarantino. You're right in there with what's going on, and you don't need to wait for the next point of action because you're so engrossed in the story. Tarantino is wonderful at directing tight, strong, visually entertaining movies, but also the dialogue is so real and so sharp and so funny that it's amazing.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you are aware that there's an invention called television, and on this invention they show shows, right?
Yeah.
That scene moves on right into the intimidation of the guys they got to kill.
You remember your business partner, Marcellus Wallace, don't you, Brett?
Yeah, I remember.
Good. Looks like me and Vincent caught you boys at breakfast. Sorry about that. What you having?
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers! The cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
Wonderfully put together. I bet Tarantino sits down writing this stuff and we think, how does he put this stuff together?
What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
Whereas it just flows from natural thought and, you know, he's able to piece it together so lovely because there's a consistency in everything that he does that is so signature to him and deserving of the credit that he gets for the movies that he creates. Beyond that scene, it ends badly. They get killed. There's always brutality. That's part of Tarantino. There's always got to be brutality, right? Brutality. I had to wear my t-shirt for the occasion. And then you've got Bruce Willis in there as well.
Whose motorcycle is this?
It's a chopper, baby.
Whose chopper is this?
Zed's.
Who's Zed?
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead.
And Bruce has this scene. The first time you see Bruce, you're just staring at his face for a good 2-3 minutes. God knows, the scene does not cut. And it's just as Marcellus Wallace in the background telling him about how he needs to throw this fight.
See, this business is filled to the brim with unrealistic motherfuckers. Motherfuckers who thought their ass would age like wine. If you mean it turns to vinegar, it does. If you mean it gets better with age, it don't.
You just see, he's just staring at Marcellus Wallace. Bruce Willis is staring at the screen, and you can hear Marcellus Wallace in the background saying, you just got to give it up, and think about that money, and if you feel that tinge, that's pride fucking with you. It's great conversation. And then what I really liked was the next scene is you see Bruce Willis go to the bar, and John Travolta's there, his character, and they have a bit of one-on-one together, and
You looking at something, friend? You ain't my friend, Palooka.
What's that?
I think you heard me just fine, Punchy.
Some niggas in the house? My nigga. Get your ass over here.
Travolta really stands off to him like a hard ass, like a hard guy. And Bruce Willis tries to intimidate back, but they're both quite strong, formidable characters. It's a good scene. And in the end, Bruce Willis's character kills him. But, again, I'm not going to describe a 2-hour movie. We're going to gloss. So that's a great part. The standout moments, Mia Wallace, Uma Thurman is wonderful. She is fantastic. The standout, her scene with him, with John Travolta. He arrives there after scoring from Eric Stoltz. He shoots up off his tree and he's cruising in his old vintage topless and he's off to Mia and he's ready for a good night. The rock and roll tune is playing or the surf track is playing and it's a killer scene and he's right in the moment. And then he turns up at Mia's place, it's still off his tree. She's getting high as well, getting ready for him. Then they go off to some venue which is so nostalgic. The original Ricky Nelson playing Wakeman School. On the stage of this venue they arrive at, and one of my standout moments in Pulp Fiction, and there are many, but one of the standout moments is when they arrive. He doesn't want to go in because he wants a steak and
Fuck is this place?
This is Jack Rabbit Slim's. An Elvis man should love it.
Come on, man, let's go get a steak.
You can get a steak here, Daddy-O.
And she's saying, come on, man, you can get a steak in there. And he said, no, let's just go somewhere else. And Mia's maintaining, nah, man, don't be a square.
Oh, after you, kitty cat.
does the square, you see the outline of the square. They head in, and he does this whole walk around the room, and the camera just follows him, the entire perimeter of the room.
I've been waiting in school all day long, waiting on the bell to ring so I can go home. Throw my books on the table, pick up the telephone. Come on, baby, let's get some good. Heading down to the drugstore to get a soda pop, throw a nickel in a jukebox stand, we start to rock. Spook out, baby.
And you're passing all the waitresses dressed like Marilyn Monroe or Jimmy Dean, and he's walking around, and he eventually gets to their booth. But that scene, and in the background you can hear Ricky Nelson playing I've been waiting at school.
I wanna tell you some news. You should've looked good and then, baby, I'll shoot.
And he's walking around, and it's great. It's a great scene. Great. And then they sit in the booth, and it is still rocking. The scene rocks.
Don't you hate that?
Hey, what?
Uncomfortable silences. Why do we feel it's necessary to yak about bullshit in order to be comfortable?
I don't know. That's a good question.
The two of them are sitting there, they're talking about uncomfortable silences together. You know, it's such a real conversation. You've never heard anything like that in movies before, and certainly not in a movie of this nature. You might get it in a touchy-feely type, but you're not going to get it in a hardcore gangster movie. So that scene's great, and then she ODs. And then the whole OD scene, and she loses her shit, and he's got to take her back to Eric Stoltz's house.
Look, while I'm doing this, you take off her shirt and find her heart.
And that'd be exact?
Yeah, it's gotta be exact. I mean, her shot in the heart, so I guess it's gotta be fucking exact.
I don't know exactly where her heart is. I mean, I think it's right here.
And Rosanna Arquette's there, and there's this whole scene where they've got to bring her back to life. You really feel for Travolta that if he fucks this, he's going to cop it from, this is Marcellus Wallace's wife, that he's meant to just be entertaining for the night. That's probably an important point that I've left out as well. There's this sexual tension between them that...
Is that what you call an uncomfortable silence?
I don't know what you call that.
that they do like each other, but he knows that's his boss's wife and he's only there to entertain her for the evening. That's a really important point. But yeah, so the whole hypodermic scene, and anyone who's seen it knows it's fantastic. It's you.
No, man, I ain't give you're gonna give it a shot. No, you're gonna give it a shot. I ain't giving her the shot.
I never done this
Yeah,
before.
I ain't never done it before either, all right? I ain't starting now. Look, you brought her here, and that means that you're gonna give her the shot. The day that I bring an OD and bitch to your house, then I give her the shot. Give her the shot.
He jams the injection in the end into her heart.
If you're all right, then say something.
Something.
She breathes, but not before they're stressing for a good 20 minutes and wondering who's going to jab the needle in and how they jab the needle in. And so really cool, really cool. Bruce Willis. The scene where he's meant to throw the fight. He's meant to throw the fight and he doesn't. He wins it and he's bet on himself. He's in the bad books now with Marcellus. Marcellus is after him, so... And there's that whole taxi scene where he's getting changed. After he's had the fight, he's got the taxi waiting for him for the quick exit. He gets in this taxi and it's this beautiful woman and...
Beating another man to death with your bare hands.
Oh, you weirdo.
No. He is a subject I have not interest in.
They have this whole conversation while he's getting changed and Lula Lobos, or I can't think of her name now, but there's this whole interchange and a bit of sort of a spark of something between them. And then he moves on to his girlfriend who's kooky and passionate as well. And
because you have one.
Shut up, fatso. I don't have a butt. I have a bit of a tummy. Like Madonna when she did Lucky Star. It's not the same thing.
And she's talking about pot bellies and looking like Madonna from Lucky Star with my pot belly. I want to have a pot belly. Weird, but interesting characters. But there's this underlining story when it comes to Bruce Willis, which I haven't even touched on, about this watch. And it turns out that as part of the escape and getaway, she was meant to gather their things, but left this valuable item that he wanted to bring with him. and she'd forgot it, so he had to go back to the apartment, but awaiting for him at the apartment was obviously the assassins from Marcellus Wallace, and it happened to be John Travolta's character, so he's there waiting. As he's leaving, he encounters Marcellus Wallace.
Tell me I've nothing to do. It's good to see you. I must go. I know I'm a good run. Anyway, my eyes are not accustomed.
And this leads to probably the most strangest scene in the movie, where the two of them are fighting, and somehow they fight downstairs into this pawn shop.
What the fuck you up to? Come here, motherfucker!
You feel that sting, big boy, huh? That's pride fucking with you, see? You gotta fight through that shit. Huh?
You better kill me.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get killed. Somebody's gonna get their motherfucking head blown up!
Hold it right there, goddammit.
This ain't none of your business, mister.
I'm making it my business.
This pawn shop is run by guys that have some perversion about rape with other men.
Bring out the gimp.
I think the gimp's sleeping.
Well, I guess you just have to go wake him up now, won't you?
Yeah.
So they captured both of them, Bruce Willis and Marcellus Wallace, and it's crazy. But the thing is, Marcellus is getting raped.
Guess that means you, big boy.
You gonna do it in here?
No, let's take you back there to Russell's over.
Sounds good to me.
And Bruce Willis is watching this happening, anticipating that it's going to happen to him next. It's crazy. They've got this guy dressed in leather, full body leather, mask, and it's bizarre. You just suddenly delve into the completely kinky. All of a sudden, it's crazy, but so interesting. Again, so compelling to watch. We're watching 1 minute, we're watching gangsters. Next minute, it's watching this crazy guy in leather and a zip, and bring out the gimp. It's weird, but interesting. And then Bruce manages to escape. Takes him out, and he ends up saving Marcellus, and their debt is cleared. And then there's a final sequence with John Travolta and Samuel Jackson, and they accidentally shoot someone, and Harvey Keitel comes in.
Get it straight, Buster. I'm not here to say please. I'm here to tell you what to do. And if self-preservation is an instinct you possess, you better fucking do it, and do it quick.
Yeah, he helps them clean up after it. It is a great movie, and it's not about what goes on, it's the way it's put together. Always with the Tarantino movies, it's the way it's delivered, it's the way it's put together. So I think it is an absolutely stunning movie to watch. It's one of my favorites, and I have not even touched on the soundtrack. The soundtrack is mind-blowing. But look, that's enough. We'll leave it at that. I hope you've agreed with some of what I've said. I hope that even the committed Star Wars fans enjoy a bit of Tarantino the same way I do. I would like to think that people that like Star Wars share more than just a passion for Star Wars with me. Look, thank you again. I look forward to the next time. Take care of yourself, geek guys and girls. I love you.